What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. This is the Wagering World. Today I'm one deep, like my boy Zero the Crooked. Man, both my co-hosts are in the middle of moving. Spread's wrapping up, moving to his ranch, and Sino is buying a new house and moving his little girl to a bigger place and a better life, man, from all this winning that we do right here on the Wagering World. If you're tuned in right now, hit that like button for the Wagering World. I had to come here, man. I haven't been with you guys in a couple weeks. We've been getting it on, doing our thing. But at the end of the day, I owe my community and the guys who trust us to come through with plays and to help them with some consulting, do my little pro bono work and give back to you guys, man. So I want to make sure that I talk to you a little bit more about March Madness, talk to you a little bit about some plays, man, to help you all put some money in your pocket because you are the Wager World and it's always us versus the machine. Great time in sports right now. I turned my boy Hakeem out on tennis now, so now Ski is a tennis better like myself and Sino. So we've been just rocking out on the tennis every day now, locked in. I showed him a couple things, and also because he's a fast learner, he's learned a lot of things. So we've been locked in on the tennis, man, doing really well. The group came up at the Indian Wells, and also we've been doing really well at this opening round of Miami, the ATP and the WTA. You see the shirt, go find it at www.thewageringworld.com. Oatmeal beats no meal hoodie. Wagering World, we got all the merch. It's all high quality, top-notch stuff. But I always say oatmeal beats no meal. Well, I had a opportunity to use one of my wisdoms myself yesterday. Now, I want everyone in the chat to let me know in the comments below whether I did the right thing when I applied my oatmeal beats no meal. So, and I'll put it up inside the video. I had a parlay going, 8 teams going yesterday. I only put $100 on it. So I probably should have let it roll out. But oatmeal beats no meal. The last leg was Keenan versus Kevitova. I'm a big Sophia Keenan guy, big Sonia Keenan dude, man. Like, she's won so much bread for me over the years. And I know that Petra Kvitova isn't at full strength right now. She's coming back from maternity leave. Older lady now, she's like 34. Used to be one of the best women on tour, a top 5 player for many years. Last leg is Keenan. I win $6,900. Almost $7,000, like $6,977 if I wait on Keenan. Okay, they started offering me. They offered me $3,900 when I get through the first 7 legs. I should have known something because Caesars never offers me anything. They be like, just beat me because I win so much against them that they just ride it out sometimes, man. They just decide to like see what's going to happen and hope that the numbers play in their favor. But they knew that I had the ass this time, so they started throwing up these offers. Mind you, I put up $100, so I see the $3,900. I almost bite then, but I say, no, I'm gonna wait. If Keenan wins the first set, it'll probably shoot up to about $5,000. And what I'll do is I'll take with the money I already have on my book. I had about a grand on the book. Like, I'll just throw the whole $1,000 on Kvitova to come back, and that way either I'm going to have $6,000 profit or I'm going to win $6,000 if she, comes back and wins, so I can't lose. Why did Keenan get broke on the first service game? She serves first. Kvitova wins the toss and defers. I knew I was in trouble right then and there. I got a little nervous instead of being patient. Didn't want to blow it because after you spent $100, man, are you gonna bring in $3,000 or you gonna say, man, I'm gonna sweat it out and win this $7,000? So after she gets broken on the first game, I'm like, let me see how Kvitova looks on her serve. She comes out, whop, 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 3 straight aces. She's left-handed and very precise. I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. I get scared. I hit the cash out button. In my mind, all I'm thinking about is my sweater right here. oatmeal beats no meal. Like, I can't say it if I don't live by it. So I end up smashing the cash out button. Sure enough, Keenan breaks back the next service game for Kvitova, and then she actually loses again another service game after that. So she went down again like 4-2 after being down 2-0. So I would have been sweating the whole time, and the cash out probably would have never got in my favor during the first set. She ends up squeaking out the first set 6-4. I'm sick. I text my wife. I'm sitting over Ski's house watching, and we watching like 4 tennis matches. I'm like, bro, I can't believe got afraid and cashed that out. And he was like, "You tripping, man? You still made, almost 3,500 off of $100." I'm like, "Yeah, man, but I left $3,600 on the table pretty much." So I want to ask the community. Let me know down in the comments. I'm about to post the ticket and show it to you. If you were in my position and you had taken this parlay and they were offering you over $3,000, you put in $100, but you're waiting on Keenan and she gets broke on the first game serving and goes down 2-0, would you have cashed out like I did and went by my rule of oatmeal beats no meal, or would you had the heart to ride it out? Let me know, Wager World. I'm very interested in your answers because this is all about us helping each other. Iron sharpens iron. We're all trying to get better at this betting stuff and, learn from what we did the last time to apply it so we can make a better decision on the next one. So I look forward to reading you guys' comments about my little story of giving back to the books $3,000 that I could have had home and wasted on my kids or my wife for spring break. All right, y'all, hit that like button. This is the Wagering World. I know past or present or future today. We're just going to talk about the March Madness tournament, man. The NCAAs. It's that time of year. I can't wait. Tomorrow morning, it'll be fired up. The tournament basically already started because we had the play-in games. We won really big last night on North Carolina. North Carolina is really talented. And even though they didn't play really good this year, they underachieved. They have one of the best rosters in America, man. They have so many diaper dandies and, All-Americans on their team. And then they also have the reigning ACC Player of the Year in R.J. Davis. So Hubert Davis, which is a really good coach. He's been there forever. Took the team to the national championship his first year coaching, as well as was the assistant many times before when North Carolina won the championship. He was, the second in line. Always was the guy that was right next to Roy Williams. So I trust, Hubert Davis. And I think that was a little shade in this because their AD is like the head guy over the committee. And, that is kind of like weird that they allow him to do both. The team was deserving because of the talent, man. I feel like West Virginia, and who was the other team that they said was right on the brink that got left out as well? Boise State, I want to say, or somebody, whoever it was. I was telling some guys on X, like, you guys are complaining about North Carolina. It's the fandom, but if you're a real bettor like myself, your eye test lets you know that North Carolina's the real deal, man. They very much should have beat Duke the other day. Now, I know the Duke is without Cooper Flag, and people are going to see if the tournament goes ahead. If he's not back fully himself, if that high ankle sprain is really bothering him, Duke is not going to win the championship. They won't even get out the region because he's that important to their team, not only with his scoring, but his ability to play defense, assist, rebound. That's why I think Cooper Flag is going to be a really good player in the league. He fills up the stat sheets and does a lot of things that go beyond the stat sheet with just giving the team confidence and momentum. So we'll see how that goes forward. But as I said, I think that North Carolina was the right decision as they blow out San Diego State. Also got in a win with Alabama State, getting it done for the SWAC. They come back and defeat St. Francis of Pennsylvania, I believe is the name of their team. Really good game, really entertaining game. Alabama State can just flat out shoot it, man. And the SWAC, is a really talented league. So I knew that they would be ready for that game. So let's get off into some of these different regions, and I want to talk to you guys about my opinion on them and what I think is going to happen. Let's start off in the East region. You got Duke is the number one seed here. As I said, Cooper Flag, not full strength. If Cooper Flag hadn't got injured in the ACC tournament, I liked Duke a lot. I expected them to get to the championship game. Now I'm not so sure. They may have a difficult matchup in the second round. Mississippi State or Baylor. Baylor isn't the Baylor we've seen in the past before. Scott Drew's team isn't anything like we've seen in the past when they had guys like Davion Mitchell there. Mississippi State, long and athletic, really can play defense, really can get up and down the court, has a point guard that can really score the ball, is really quick and can be a problem. So Duke better be careful with that one. Pretty good matchup with Oregon and Liberty. Arizona and Akron. I like Arizona a lot, man. I really like that team. They're really deep. They're talented, battle-tested. They got to be leery, though, of Akron because Akron is a really good offense. The Zips are top 5 in field goals made, and they're ranked 8th in threes made. They're also top 10 in field goals attempted and in threes attempted, which means that they push the tempo, they play at a fast pace, and with all that pace, they still are efficient. So Arizona should be very careful with them, but Arizona is really good, man. Caleb Love, Jaden Bradley, KJ Lewis, just a really dynamic trio of guards. You got Trey Townsend, who I watched at Oakland. He was really good at Oakland. Their coach, Tommy Lloyd, doing what he does best and always going international and getting really good players. He has one in Henry Vassar, 7-footer, versatile, can step out, shoot the three, can roll to the rim and finish strong. Also is a great defensive player as well. But the best player probably doesn't even start. The lottery pick on that team is going to be Carter Bryant. I believe he's Kobe Bryant's cousin as well. But Carter Bryant is 6'8", a forward, and he's getting more play now that they got into the Big 12 tournament and were making moves. He didn't play as much during the regular season, but now we're seeing a lot more Carter Bryant. We're seeing the flashes that kind of show why he could be a lottery pick. Tough region in the East. With that said, I always tell you guys that watch the show, we're looking for value. If we're doing a future, we're looking for situations where we're getting value and we can hedge. And I think that Arizona at plus 800 to win the East is a lot of value. I think that they can beat Duke as currently constructed because Duke is injured, as we know, with their best player out. Like I said, he's more than just a scorer. He brings a whole different dynamic to that team that they're going to need. And if he can't be the best of himself, they're going to definitely feel it. Arizona has so many veterans. Caleb Love, he went to the Final Four, I want to say, with North Carolina like 4 years ago. This crazy COVID rules and all this stuff happen where these kids play forever. But he's a really clutch player and has a really talented team around him. And as I told you before, I do like their coach, Tommy Lloyd. So in the East, give me Arizona at plus 800 to pull it off in the upset the brackets, man, and get past Duke and get to the Final Four. My favorite first round play in the East is going to be Vanderbilt plus 4.5 against St. Mary's. I think Jason Edwards and AJ Hoggard is just too athletic of a backcourt for St. Mary's. August Marcellonis and Luke Barrett. Also, Vanderbilt is battle tested. They won some really tough games in the SEC against some really top tier talent. And I think that their speed, their ability to shoot the three is going to be just too much for St. Mary's, who's a slow-paced team and does struggle to score the ball. So the best play will be in the East for me in the first round, Vanderbilt plus 4.5. All right, let's go to the Midwest now. That's my University of Houston Cougars. They're the number one seed, well-deserved. Another Big 12 conference tournament and regular season title for Kelvin Sampson and those guys. Really proud of those guys out in Third Ward, man, and they represent for the city so well. One of the best programs in America. Quick turnaround. Just a great job. They've become the standard in Texas, the best basketball team in Texas. You got the emergence of Milos Uzan. That's the key to the team. Uzan playing the way that he does, kid out of Vegas, took over the lead guard position. Kevin Sampson gave him a lot of confidence to take over, man. Do what you want to do. And when you got a coach like Kevin Sampson telling you, hey, man, this is your offense, you got to perform. You got Emmanuel Sharp getting healthy. And we know the one thing about Houston, they're going to bring their hard at. They're going to hustle. They're going to play defense. They're going to rebound. They better be careful with Clemson. Clemson is a really, really good team, man. A lot of veterans over there. A really good coach who's had his team in this tournament before, many times before. And this might be his best team that he's had to take to this tournament as well. Also, you might get a really good matchup with Gonzaga in the second round against Houston, and also with Purdue in the second round against Clemson. Just something to watch. Really, really good teams over here, but I do think that Houston can get through it. I don't understand how the hell Kentucky is a number 3, but that's good for Houston because Kentucky just is a scoring team, man, and they're missing their best scorer. They've done a really good job playing around the injuries and things like that. We'll see if they can get close to full strength. We know that Jackson Robinson isn't coming back all year, but their point guard who transferred from San Diego State has been slowly working back in. We'll see if he can play in the tournament. I'm talking about Butler. He took San Diego State all the way to the championship game a few years ago, so he's a hell of a player. I just think that Houston gets through this. I'm not a big fan of Tennessee. Tennessee is the only other team that I could see could really push them, and Clemson. And I don't think that Clemson has the tenacity to beat Houston at all. I think that they would have a lot of trouble scoring against Houston. So give me the Cougs to win the Midwest at a super low number, plus 120. So that lets you know that they think really highly of Houston and Las Vegas. My favorite first round play out the Midwest is going to be Clemson minus 7.5 versus McNeese. McNeese State has a bunch of guys who are athletic, can run around, can score. They dominated down in the Southland. But the problem is, man, I just don't trust Will Wade. Their coach is just too emotional. He originally was at LSU, and they ran him out of town for some type of infractions that he did. And I'm sure he's doing a bunch of stuff now, but now it's legal because of NIL in order to get the players that he has at McNeese State. Shout out to McNeese State. Shout out my bro Lamar Jean, who's like a big brother to me, who raised me. He had a full scholarship to McNeese State. He played there. And rest in peace to Chris Brookhouse, who's unfortunately lost his life to drugs. He played with me in 7th grade, man. His father was a coach out there at Barb in Lake Charles and also an assistant at McNeese State. So I got some ties to Lake Charles. But I think that Clemson beats them minus 7.5. I think that that's a really short number for a Clemson team that's going to be real agitated after getting knocked out the ACC tournament in a close game by Louisville. Also, Purdue minus 8 versus High Point seems like it's a bad number to me as well. High Point can score. Really little team, though. Their guards are small, very energetic to shoot the ball, but I think the Purdue's discipline, and I think that the way that Matt Panner runs his system is going to be very difficult for High Point to stop them from scoring the basket. I also think that Purdue will be pretty motivated after a disappointing performance against Michigan that got them knocked out the Big Ten tournament. So give me those two. Clemson minus 7.5 versus McNeese. Purdue minus 8 versus High Point in the Midwest. Let's go to the best side, the West side. The number 1 seed over here is the Florida Gators. They're a really good team. I've been betting Florida a while now. I love betting them. Walter Clayton Jr. is one of my favorite players. If any NBA team gets this kid, they're going to hit a win, man. He reminds me somewhat of Jalen Suggs. He has a lot of Jalen Suggs in him, but a little bit more offensive than Jalen Suggs. A little bit better shooter than Jalen Suggs, but that same football mentality, leadership mentality at point guard. He was a safety and a quarterback in high school in Florida and chose to play basketball. Went to Iona with Rick Pitino, and now he's transferred back to Florida, and now he's a household name, one of the best players in college basketball. And then you got Elijah Martin, another dog. He transferred in from Florida Atlantic. And I used to bet him with Dustin May and those guys over there at Florida Atlantic. They were really good teams. They made it to the Final Four a couple years back. And Elijah Martin is pretty much a poor man's Lou Dort. He's going to be just like that guy that's in OKC, Lou Dort, man. He strong, physical, can shoot the three. But what Elijah Martin has kind of added to his game this year is he has a lot more wiggle and handle than he did in the past when he was at Florida Atlantic. So I expect big things on the next level for both of these guys, Walter Clayton Jr. and Elijah Martin. Also, Coach Golden, who came over there from San Francisco, really good young coach. He brought in an Aussie too, Big Alex Condon. He's 6'11", very versatile, really good player, defends the rim well, and they have a dog on the offensive rebounds in Ruben Yule. Really good at crashing the boards. He gets them so many opportunities on the offensive board. So Florida is very impressive. The only thing that worries me about Florida is now everyone's on them. Before they were kind of asleep, nobody really knew about them. But now everyone's on them, and when everyone's screaming one team, it kind of bothers me. Second round, they'll get a chance to most likely take out UConn if UConn doesn't lose to Oklahoma first, because Oklahoma is really good and really well coached, and they have some talent over there. I might fade UConn in the first round against Oklahoma, actually. Then you go down a little bit more. You see a good matchup between Missouri and Drake. You see a really good matchup between Kansas and Arkansas. And then you have three teams that I really like as sleepers, man. Maryland, Texas Tech, and St. John's. I'm a huge St. John's guy, man. I love Rick Pitino. I love Kadari Richmond. I followed him at Seton Hall, and now he's transferred and brought the Johnnies back to relevance again. Then at Maryland, versatile. A lot of players over there that can put the ball in the hoop. Angel Reese's little brother, Derek Queen, who's a really good center, might be a lottery pick. So keep your eyes on Maryland and St. John. And, of course, Texas Tech. We know how I think about J.T. Toppin. He's a really good player. They also can score the ball. So this is going to be a really tough group for Florida to get through. As I said before, I just don't like when everyone's on one side. So I'm going to take St. John's to win the West. I think that they can get it done. Kadari Richmond is special like that. I think that he can carry this team. Also, St. John's plays with an edge. They play just like University of Houston with a bunch of ferocity, bunch of edge, tough rebounders. Second half, they play their best ball. That's another thing I like about them. So watch St. John's. For the value at plus 500, I can't pass it up. So we're going to be on St. John's to win the West at plus 500. And the game that I like for the West region is going to be Colorado State to beat Memphis. I think they're a small favorite at -1.5. Much less known program. Shout out to Penny Hardaway. Much respect to him. Great job winning the American, but they're going to lose the first round. Reason Tyrese Hunter's hurt with a foot problem. Also, Dante Harris. Hunter's their best player. I know that PJ Harrigan scores the most points, but Tyrese Hunter is the guy that they go to and pick and roll when they really need a basket. Transferred from Texas. Before that, he was at Iowa State. He's a vet, been in a lot of NCAA tournament games. So with him being a little, hurt, that's not going to go well for Memphis as he's their leader. Also, I really like the way that Nick Clifford has been playing for Colorado State. He's a real baller, man. He's averaging about 28 points a game in the last 6 games that he's played. They ran right through the Mountain West tournament. I don't feel like Memphis was tested much in the American. So I like Colorado State to beat Memphis in the West in the first round. And let's go down to the bottom of the map to the south for the our last region to break down. Auburn is the first seed in the entire tournament, the number 1 overall seed, deservingly so, had a good year. Bunch of old players. They're one of the oldest teams I can remember in college basketball. A lot of transfers. Possibly a great matchup in the second round, whether they get Louisville or Creighton. Both of those teams are good. Both of them are veteran-led by 2 veteran point guards who are going to push them. That's going to be a really good game, an interesting game between Louisville and Creighton to see who plays Auburn, because I think Auburn gets through Alabama State. Alabama State can shoot the 3, but come on, man. They're going to have to try to play up-tempo with Auburn, and that's not going to happen, especially with Auburn coming off and getting upset by Yale last year. I think they'll be a lot more focused. We got a real funny number. Everybody's falling for it. I'm not. Michigan is going to be playing San Diego. UC San Diego, really good shooting team, but Michigan is one of the better teams in the country. They just haven't had a good stretch until the tournament. They, caught fire again in the Big Ten. They had a little low point because they weren't shooting threes well. The problem with UC San Diego trying to stop Michigan is how the hell do they expect them to stop their Twin Towers? I know the books are throwing that little number out there so all you guys can be, oh, I'm so smart and try to be sharp. But I'm not fading Michigan with UC San Diego. And the reason why I've seen UC San Diego play, and I know that they're going to have a lot of problems dealing with Michigan's size and the 2 7-footers. Ole Miss and North Carolina is going to be a good one. I expect North Carolina actually to win this game. For sure, I'll be on them on the first half. North Carolina is a lot more talented than their record shows. And also, R.J. Davis has played so many college basketball games, makes big shots. He's a real factor. To me, guard play is the most important thing in the NCAAs. And North Carolina not only has him, they have 2 more guards, and Cadeau, who's really good, is going to play in the NBA, and also in Trimble, who's a really good guard as well. So I like North Carolina to really shock some people. Marquette in New Mexico is going to be a good one. The problem is New Mexico isn't having a lot of confidence right now, man. They're on a losing streak. They didn't show up well in their conference tournament, but they do have a really good player in Donovan Dent at point guard. Michigan State and Bryant is going to be so many points. Bryant's a fun team to watch. One of the tallest teams in college basketball. Their average height for their starting lineup is 6'7". But with that said, I think Michigan State is too deep. Izzo knows that this is one of his last shots to get it done. One of the more talented teams that he's had in East Lansing. So my pick for the South, I think Michigan State can get out this region at plus 480. My long shot is actually North Carolina. I think that Carolina at 25-1 is a great value play because if they catch fire, they got a pretty good matchup. They beat Ole Miss, they're going to get Iowa State. Iowa State is dinged up. They're hurt. Their best player, Keyshawn Gilbert, I don't know if he's going to play, if he's going to give it a go, but he's hurt. And their second best player, Lipsy, is hurt as well. So injuries at the wrong time for Iowa State. I think North Carolina will run the gas on them, and then it will come down to North Carolina most likely playing Michigan State in the Elite Eight. And in the Sweet 16. And then now we're in a really good position because both the tickets we have a chance to get to the Elite Eight and have an opportunity to get to the big dance. So I know that long shot, but give me Michigan State plus 480, North Carolina plus 2,500. Remember, we do this for one reason and one reason only, and that's to make money. So we always want to take the value. What's the point of taking a minus 120 on Auburn? We're going to shoot for the stars. Let's go with North Carolina 25-1. It's not like they don't have the roster to make it to the Final Four or the experience on the bench with Hubert Davis. All right, you know what time it is right now. It's time for the people segment, the world famous Ball and Parlay. I'm just going to give back out the games that I gave that I like for the first round. I'm going with Michigan money line minus 145 in the South. We're going to roll with Colorado State money line at like minus 115 against Memphis in the West. We're also going to roll with Purdue minus 8 versus High Point. Clemson minus 7.5 versus McNeese State in the West. And then finally, we'll wrap it up and go to the East. And I'm going to ride with Vanderbilt plus 4.5 against St. Mary's. So that's a multitude of picks from 5-Star. Love for you guys. We've been gone. Hopefully you can take these picks, do your thing with them. I got some tennis packages that are going to be available for anyone interested in getting on this tennis wave with me. We've really been eating. Also, I got some March Madness packages, of course. Tap my line, hit me in the DM. We'll work something out. I do have 2 slots available for anyone interested in making some money this March. Hey, let's get it. Hit that like button right now. As always, I dedicate this show to the greatest Houston sports fan I know, and that's my father, John H. Lindsay. You guys go to www.thewageringworld.com, sign up for a free play, and also get some of this gear like you see right here. The oatmeal beats no meal. Look forward to talking to you guys soon. Enjoy the tournament. This is The Wagering World.